The main quest of the winter update 2025 is the Roost of the Graveborn. This quest introduces 3 new spawns and a total of 5 bosses to do, with a difficulty comparable to Soul Wars, with a few exceptions. As for the rewards, the main goal is of unlocking access to the new spawns, which offer 2 options for team hunts and 1 for solo hunts. However, they are also separated by limited entries. You will have to farm items to access. The middle ground, which is the solo spawn, and another item for the last floor, which is a team hunting spot. The outer crypt is free of access, with a difficulty lower than Soul Wars but higher density of creatures. On initial tests with a 1400 average team, we were doing over 14.5kk. Not ideal, but it's a new hunt with room for improvements and buffs. Upon completing the quest, you will receive a random rune. These are used to craft a new set of weapons from the crypt set. There is 5 different runes, and you must collect one of each for a random roll of a weapon. Besides the quest rewards, the bosses can drop them too, but they likely will be rare weapons, due to the way to get them. And honestly, their main appeal is the high physical damage. Mage options are quite underwhelming. With that said, my level recommended for the quest is of 1k. Some bosses can be done by level 800 averages, but others are quite difficult and dangerous, so even 1k might be hard. Other requirements include the key to Hellgate and a holy table with blood and oil to get into POI. Lastly, a Duaran ring. To start off, head to Abelendriel and find this NPC by the north. Say hi, on rest, yes. You will receive a Jade Dragon head. With this, now you will have to get to Draconia through Hellgate. If nobody from your team has the key and is close, you can buy it for 5k from the NPC upstairs. Once inside of Hellgate, follow this path. Quite a walk, but it's a one-time thing. If you succeed with the access bosses, you will be able to use a boat ride from the previous NPC directly into Draconia, where the new spawns are located. Once you get there, by the northeast, find a hole to go down twice to find the dragon's ancestor. Say hi, spirit, and then click on the Jade Dragon head in the inventory. Now you need to get out. You can use a cube to teleport, or if you bring a white mushroom with you, then it can be offered to the old dragon lord by the northwest mountain by saying hi. He gives a dragon fetish, then southeast find a hole, put the talisman in the basin, and enter the teleport. From now on, it's only boss fights, starting in Greenshore, northwest of Tez. Follow this path to find the teleport to the level room. This is the Adventurers group, one of the easiest bosses but can be dangerous at the same time. The fight consists of fighting 5 replicas of the 5 vocations at the same time. The damage taken is a bit of everything, since each vocation does their spells, so physical from EKs, monks and RP, but the RP also does holy. Mainly fire from the sorcerer with a bit of energy, and druid does mainly earth with a bit of ice. Each boss individually is manageable, but altogether is heavy damage. Additionally, in the room there are bright crystals. Attacking those can trigger mana drain and also apply hex to the damager, so avoid hitting them with AoE spells. The recommended way is to start off with killing the druid. We trap it with the EK and RP by the north away from the crystals and focus on it. Meanwhile, I tank the EK and monk. If the team is on the lower end of levels, you could have the EK on the side with the monk and knight replica, and shooters focus on the druid at range. Or optionally, EK just move back and forth, keeping the druid in the same area while the RP tries to have aggro of the ranged bosses. Keep in mind, the ranged bosses cannot be turned into melee, which is the reason we trap them to attack, and also while they are ranged, they retarget off them. Ideally, you want MS and ED to have one each. Now the secondary mechanic to this fight is that on half HP, these replicas will cast Avatar, and stay like that for the remainder of the fight. During this form, they take less damage and hit way harder. This is why it's important to not fully AoE and focus on one at a time. The exception for us being the monk and knight replicas, which we do AoE down, but tend to focus more in one of the two. And when it avatars, we fully focus on it. If the two of them cast avatar, the EK starts taking decent damage. The most dangerous replicas are the sorcerer and paladin. The sorcerer casts high fire UE damage quite often, and the paladin retargets non-stop, apparently prioritizing the target on the lowest HP in the room, so be mindful of that. Once you kill all 5, a fatal block appears. This one is not a problem, simply continue to attack and that's it. Once he dies, and for all of the bosses, you must remember to leave the room through the green teleport to continue the quest. Otherwise, you failed the mission and will have to repeat the boss after 20 hours. If by any reason you need to leave the fight early, then the exit teleport is this sphere, which to get out you need to click on. But for the purposes of the quest, the first time you take the green teleport which takes you to another room. Here use the skull by the middle and then use the jade skull. Next up is the Eldritch Dragon Lore, located in the POI Dragon Lair. Take the green portal for the shortcut to POH and then follow the path to POI. You will need to have a Holy Table, which you can buy from the monk in the POH temple, and a vial of blood, oil, and a tool to enter and open the bridge into the Dragon Lair. Once inside, by the northwest part of the cave, you find the teleport to the lower room. This boss does mainly fire damage to the EK, followed by energy and physical. Shooters take mainly fire damage with energy. It's recommended to mana shield on the mages before pulling the lever, as it can do some combos upon entering. Inside the room, you will find the boss and 4 pulsating lavas. These lavas heal over time constantly, and evolve into an eruption in second stage and a flame totem on the last stage. If they are at the last stage as the flame totem, the boss takes less damage, depending on the amount of them at that stage. So the strategy of this fight consists of keeping them low HP and at the first stage. EK tank the boss and AoE down the lava and boss together. Meanwhile, the rest of the group also AoE down both. The paladin should target 2 lavas and keep them low HP. We go with the strat of fully ignoring one of these, which just makes the boss a tiny bit more resistant. Once he loses about a third of HP, all the lavas turn into a flame totem instantly. At this point, because 4 of them are at that stage, the boss will take no damage, instead gets healed from any attacks by a lesser amount. You want to avoid hitting him if possible and mainly focus on the flame totem. Once it gets down to black HP in the first stage, move on to the next totem. With 3 totems up, the boss only takes ice damage to a reduced amount, so you can use avalanches on shooters and EK's weapon. Once this one dies, then go to the third totem, and by now he starts taking damage from everything but by a reduced amount. When the third totem is black, then the boss gets hit by the most of the damage. Focus on it with the EK keeping down one of the lavas and the paladin takes care of the other 2. Again, we ignore one of them. This gives more time to damage the boss, because this will happen 2 more times. Each time he loses a third of HP, and on the last time, he's usually low enough that we can brute force with ignoring the third totem, but this is dependent on your team's damage. You might still need to take down the third. If you feel like you struggle during the first damage phase, then your team might need to keep down all 4 totems, so keep that in mind. Once the boss dies, remember to leave through the green teleport, use the Molten Throne, and then the Jade Skull. For the next boss, head to Okolnir, the Frost Dragons in Spargon. The teleport is located by the coast of the southwest. Take the first stairs up and levitate down to the middle area, and then fully southwest following the path. This is the Ice Horror boss, and is the most dangerous besides the final. The damage taken will be mainly death and ice. Inside the boss room, you will be super drunk. Dwarven Ring does not work. Additionally, the pirates on the side will be shooting attacks targeted at you, and these do damage to the blockades, creatures, and the boss. The boss and creatures especially take a lot of damage from them, so everyone stand near the blockade to get rid of them. And in the third section, you find the boss, which can cast fear, so once at the spot, EK needs to stand on a firebomb. Take it to the left and have the mages by the water. RP gets a bit closer to the boss. This way, the AoE for the pirates attacks hits the boss. Ideally, you want more people close to it to get this done faster. Once it's getting close to half HP, you want mages to mana shield and everyone get ready. As soon he gets hit again, he's going to summon around 15 of the spiders. You will need to survive long enough for the pirates' attacks to clear them out. Perhaps if you had the mages a bit further out and getting targeted by the pirates, you get more attacks near the spiders, but this also feels completely random. The best thing is to have already the target on the ground before the spiders spawn. We done the boss a few times and some rounds take a few seconds before they attack. During this phase, you should be holding SSA on my rings with mana shield and mages. Once the wave of spiders is dead, then have people get closer to the boss, so they hit him when they get attacked by the pirates. Then when he dies, continue north to take the green teleport. Also, because you will be drunk for a few seconds inside of the new room, you should stand still upon entering and wait it out. Just to avoid walking out of the teleport by drunkenness, use the Draconic Rattle and then the Jade Dragon Head on the fight against the Gravedigger. This one is located in the middle dragon lair in Anchor Moon. The damage taken is mainly death, and the boss can be easy once you understand the fight, but could be instant death if you make too many mistakes. Inside the room, you will be slow and drunk. This time the Dwarven Ring does work, so put it on. The boss targets on proximity and ignores XRS, so you want to avoid getting too close and have the EK be the main one with him. If he goes on somebody else, is not that dangerous in damage, and that person needs to focus on doing the main mechanic before putting him back on the EK. This mechanic is that during the fight, waves of an attack with a Green Reaper animation will be coming from north and west. They don't have a order, it can come from the same direction 2 times in a row. Each wave also comes in pairs, and it will have 3 squares saved from it. You need to communicate where that spot is and walk towards it, while also bringing the boss. As soon the wave passes, you need to start moving in the opposite direction for the second wave. These do have a pattern which is mostly on the opposite side, except the wave that comes from the left, that one has a pattern that starts in the middle and then goes to the north. The reason for doing this is that if you get hit by a wave, then you gain a charge. Players that reach 20 charges will instantly die upon getting hit again. No way to avoid that or to reduce charges. You must be constantly on the move and avoid the waves. If anyone is close to hitting 20, then that person should leave the boss room to avoid dying. Additionally, the boss also gains charges, but he becomes more resistant the more he gets, which is why the fight is entirely dependent on avoiding the Green Reaper waves. Also, the boss will be constantly summoning totems. If he is standing next to one, it can heal him for 6k. If a player is next to one, then he can get rooted and drunk. The best elements to use against him are fire and earth. Paladins are encouraged to imbue earth on a crossbow, but it is optional. If you don't have a spare crossbow, then go with physical. Just keep it on mind as an option if you are struggling to defeat this boss. Also, the crossbow will still be useful in the final fight, which now you will have access to upon killing Gravedigger. Remember to take the green portal and use the jet ahead, then go back to the NPC in Aventadriel and ask him for a passage to get the shortcut to Draconia. Now you can enter the spawns. Each boss so far will have dropped 2 access items per kill. The hearts are used to get into the solo area and grant 5 entries to it. The fossils are used to get into the team hunting area and grant 2 entries to it. Taking the left portal gets you to the first team hunting area where the boss is located, and also where you take the portal to the solo area. The right portal outside is the one that takes you to the paid team hunting area. Keep that in mind to avoid wasting your free entries in vain. And that will be all for this video. I will post the final boss separately as this one is already long enough and the final boss has a lot to cover as well. Thank you for watching. If you found it helpful, consider subscribing so you don't miss that video.